Hey, this is Francesca Battistelli, and you're listening to Dispatch Radio.
Folks, I couldn't be more excited. I know that many of you, I think we gave away some tickets. I know my wife and some of my family went and saw Chonda Pierce at the Laughing in the Dark in the fall. She's back doing it again with a great tour. It's tons of dates here in Florida. If you're not listening to us live or if you're catching on the podcast, she's going to be in Northport, Sarasota. She's in Largo, Ocala. I'm hopefully going to be at the Lakeland show. I may be the only guy there, so I'm probably. She's already knows. It's called the Happily Laughter After, which, by the way, you're a little country for a Southern guy like me. That's pretty hard to say and not mess up. So how on earth do you even go on these shows and say that and not mess that up? Happily Laughter After.
I know. We only say it once.
There we go. One time.
But that should be the challenge every night, is to see who can say it 3 times in a row. We should give them a free CD. Hey, that's a great idea.
You should move them to the front.
You're right.
If you're in the balcony and you can say it 3 times, you get to sit in this seat right here. I'm like, I'd be out. I'd have to go to the back.
I love the idea of that. That
Yes.
People are always looking for the happily ever after, and that doesn't happen always. But what you can do is laugh all the way to the end of your story. And I, when the good Lord decides to take me out, I want to go out laughing. That's what I've done my whole life, and I'm so blessed that this is my job.
That's what I've said the whole time, too. I said I'm going to put the fun in funeral, so you guys need to be duly noted and making sure you have everything appropriately lined up. I do not want this dark, dreary bunch of hymns. I said, no, that's not going to be me. They're going to play all of the worst interviews I've ever done, all the mistakes I've ever done, and we're just going to have a good laugh and keep on moving. And, you're right.
We did that at my mom's funeral. It was so funny. We just decided, we had like open mic night. We decided to just take turns, everybody coming up and telling the funniest story they know about my mother. And it just wound up being, if you can have fun at a funeral, it just was such a celebration.
Yes.
And I think it is exactly the way she would have wanted it. Sadly, I am well acquainted with funerals.
Yes.
But I also know that there is life after death. And there is life to live even after you've lost someone.
That's right. We need to honor someone, but we also need to carry forth the appropriate legacy for what they've left behind. And let me jump a little bit about some of the business here, because the one night special, the Fathom event that we were able to be a part of, it's so great. Had a great encore. That was such a great blessing for you, I'm sure. And now to be able to roll right into a tour. First off, where's all the energy coming from? Are you cheating energy bars that we don't know about? That's a lot. You got a lot of juice. I'm a little concerned.
It's a lot of naps. It's a lot of naps. At my age, you take a lot of naps. And that's probably a good thing for every woman out there, is to give of course, sometimes we can't, but to give yourself permission to nap. And routine is the greatest thing for me, and especially because I deal with clinical depression. So I take good nutrition, I take care of myself, I try to take a walk, but I give myself permission to take a nap every chance I get. And every day I stick with the same routine and stick with the same nap, and I'm doing all right. Plus, I do have a wonderful staff of people that keeps it all going. So, I don't have to whine too much. I can't whine too much. I'm sitting on a beautiful bus, and I'll rest till the show, and then I'll get back on the bus and go to bed.
Well, they have been lovely people to deal with, I have to tell you, from our experience as well. And it is, I'm a big fan of the routine myself. My wife teases that I'm up at 5:15 every day, and come 10:05, it's likely I'm just going to nod off wherever I'm at. So if I'm just standing up, if I'm sitting down, you better make sure you got a stick to poke or prod me, make sure I'm listening. So if I nod off, I know if I'm in your show, I'm going to be in trouble. But, hey, I don't think it'll happen. I'm sure I'll be fine.
That's exactly right. It is just, my mother was like that. My mother worked at night as a nurse for many, many, many years. And I think her sleep pattern was so messed up, Lord love her, that she really would nod off, and we would get so tickled taking pictures of her sleeping, just anywhere. Yeah, the whole family, we could be screaming loud at a football game, and she'd still be snoring.
That's awesome.
Which I love that about her, and I think I've inherited that. I have the ability to just sleep. I can sleep on an airplane so good it kills my staff. Before the plane will take off, I'll go to sleep, and I won't even know until we land. And they're like, "How do you do that?"
All right, I want to dib that. So tell your family I'll fly up for your funeral, and I'll come up with a nice solemn look on my face with a dark skin, and look all serious, and then we'll begin to show a slide of Chonda sleeping at all of these events that she's been at where she's nodded off. Here she is at Super Bowl 50. And here she is backstage at the K-Love Awards, and here we are. Oh my goodness! I think that's backstage on the Today Show. She's nodded right off there.
I love it. But I am excited to come to Florida. It is one of my favorite places to work. As any of my girlfriends listening know, those shows are usually off the chain, and we have such a great time. Just such a great time.
I know everybody's looking for it. We will link to the dates, folks. Make sure you can get tickets. Everything for all along the West Coast and Central Florida. She's going to be all over the place. Then she goes to Ocala. Then she heads back up into the Southeast, North Carolina, South Carolina. So we'll be promoting that as well, pushing that out on the internet for her as well. You can go to shondamovie.com to get the copy of the DVD or the digital download if you missed it, because Laughing in the Dark is out there. It dropped in April. And then, of course, if you need more ticket information, tour information is there as well. And, Chonda, as we kind of probably have to wrap up because I know time's a little hard for us right now, but when you do your work, because you're working with Branches Recovery Center and that kind of thing, and because you balance out the comedic side with this serious struggle that many of us struggle with, the counseling and, addictive personalities, all these different things that we're struggling with.
Right.
You're probably a magnet for people coming and just sharing their stories with you at this point.
I pray so. I've been at this for 25 years, Brandon, and if it didn't have some kind of bigger significance than just the laugh, I would quit. and I've always had, it's just been interesting, especially, you're right, when the movie came out and you sit in a movie theater and you watch your whole life story there on a big screen. And I must say, it was not the movie we intended to capture. I had gotten an award as the most awarded female comic in history, and how do you do that when the majority of the universe does not have any idea who I am? And so these incredible, smart marketing people said, let's do a documentary about how you did this, how you accomplished this, and you stayed clean, and you didn't work, a lot of comedy clubs and all that. Let's talk about that. And when we began to film that about 5 years ago, my whole personal life fell apart. And we decided, now you didn't keep the cameras rolling every minute, but we decided to go ahead and talk about that and talk about what I was walking through, and then also capture some of the work and the fun stuff. And by the time it was all finished, what we had was just a part of an existence of someone who had to walk through some deep valleys, and then how do you hold on to God? And without railing and being mad at him and fussing and doing, and, which we did probably a little bit of that. But all that to say, sitting there and watching it and then capturing the whole, your whole life story, I had this weird out-of-body experience to just really step back and go, I'm kind of really proud of her. Now, my life has not been perfect, and I certainly don't have answers for everybody out there, but I can tell you where to find them, and I can tell you where I have found a lot of them. And that's kind of been my MO since the beginning of my career. The comedy was always secondary. It was always an opening act or a vehicle to be able to tell a crowd something. And most often, it was something I was learning. And so my whole career has just been living life just right out in front of everybody. Now, some things are private. Some things are none of your business.
It's the happily laughter after tour. I tried for the second time. That's why I messed it up.
That's it. Happily laughter after.
We will hit you with the at Chonda Pierce is the Twitter. We'll link to her website, all information, folks. If you're going to join us for the Lakeland show, that's going to be June the 4th. If you see me, flag me down. I'd be happy to shake a hand or two. But all sorts of dates through Florida, from Northport down to Largo, Sarasota, Ocala, before she heads back up north. It's been such a great blessing to be able to talk to her finally. Thank you again, Chonda, for fitting us into your busy schedule.
Thank you, Brandon. Have a great day, my friend.